And welcome to Western Mass Turf. We are now in our live stream, and we have a great show for you tonight. Welcome back. Our first and consistent guest that we always have on is Mike, Mr. Busy Bees. How the hell are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Great. I'm great. Thanks. We also have our special guest tonight, Mr. Aaron Lushy from Lush Lawns out in the eastern part of Massachusetts. How are you, Lushy?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for being on, guys. I was really looking forward to tonight. It should be fun.
Hey, we're gonna get some good Northeast turf talk. Mike's gonna enjoy all of this.
Oh, for sure.
For sure. Uh, so, Lushy, you and we have known each other for a little while now, and we actually have a lot in common because we're both Massachusetts boys, and we are both lawn care operators. I just wanted to let our viewers know that we're getting some real life mass hole information tonight. So that'd be cool.
This is if we I don't know, I probably could get us a third one. We could have a full trifecta of mass holes here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That would be fun. We'll definitely have the invasion of the mass holes one of these days. Mike?
Where we treat zoysia as a weed, and Busy actually treats it.
Eh,
Yeah,
he
he's
likes to see 'em.
maintaining. Yeah, yeah.
You maintain it. We try to kill it.
Well, y'all try to kill Bermuda at times too.
Oh yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah. Anything that's warm season, we try to get out of here. So, Mike, how's it going? You were working today. How'd everything go today?
It went okay for what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I got 9 or 10 knocked out yards. I had to spray, I had to fertilize, and then I also had these are split yards. It's got like Bermuda and then like the backyards fescue. So I had to go pull the other sprayer out, go spray it for the Bermuda
Mm,
instead of wasted trips.
yeah, and God, I would hate to have to do that up here in Massachusetts, right, Lushy? I mean,
Ugh, no, thank
yeah.
you.
God bless Busy Bees, and he does.
I
Also,
tell you
I
what,
got
from meeting all the guys down south, because I came into this pretty naive. I wasn't classically trained like Brett, and basically have scraped myself along to figure it out. And I went down south and actually met a bunch of these guys and was out of this seminar. And a lot of these warm season guys started talking about their issues that they had and different grass types. And I come up on this. I got centipede in this one. I got Bermuda in this one. I've got this zoysia in this one. I got fescue in this one. I'm like, sweet Jesus, I want no part of this. Are you kidding me? I gotta have this product for this and this product for that and that product for this. And if I look at that grass over there wrong, the centipede, it's gonna die. No, no, no. I don't want any part of that. What do you mean
it's
fire ants? What do you mean if I'm standing there, they're gonna eat me? No, I don't want to touch any of this.
Oh, you brought up fire ants. Oh
uh,
God. Ugh.
Yeah, I know enough to not move south and want to do lawn care. I like to visit.
Well, if you ever visit me, don't worry. There's not a fire ant in sight.
I have a feeling that lawn has some sort of toxic glow to it for some reason.
It's glowing nice and light brown right now for some reason. Wonder why.
yeah. God, no, I'm with you. I'm with you, Lushy. I will go down to Florida for a week this winter, and that's about it. That's all I'm going to be doing. I couldn't imagine being down there and treating lawns and going from Bermuda to Zoysia to cool season. No.
I mean, and I guess in an aspect where it's when you're down there, it's full season. Like we have such a break that we have to make our chops in a very short window
Yeah.
where they can have a little more sustainability. And it seems like they're if you want to talk business, their pricing structure being seasonal all year long is so much higher than where we're at.
Yeah.
It's so cutthroat up here.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, when you're getting $10, $15 per thousand on an application,
Mhm.
and you offer that to someone around here like a year ago, 2 years ago, they would look at you like you had four heads.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You're
it's
right.
like I told
Yeah.
Tiff, like, me and Tiffany Lawns were talking one day, and I was like, "Hey, look, I know you have your pricing structure. Look at it at $12 per thousand. Look at it $17 per thousand. Look at it $10 per thousand, and figure out, run your numbers against those three numbers and see where you want to be."
Right. And Tiff
And
and I
that,
have been talking a lot lately because he's doing his pricing, and I know he's probably been reaching out to everybody, and he's terrified. When I raise my prices, which Brett has had to do, and I'm going to have to do again, but I'm spending a lot of time to see if I can not raise across the board another 30% like we did last year. I think we went up 35% last year.
Mhm.
We already took that jump. This year I'm trying to really calculate everything out and see, like, all right, this job they're $100 an app. Well, I can do 110 and that will be okay. We'll still make great money doing that.
Sure.
But Mrs. Jones was getting charged $60 and I made $12 all year off of her. She's going up.
right?
So
I
that's
implemented a pain in the ass fee today.
those. I have one of those customers.
Didn't want
And
me to use my machine to do fertilizer nor spraying it, and I was like, okay, well, it's going to be an extra $150 for me to walk this.
Yeah, it's labor.
No, it is.
That's all.
Sometimes I'll even take into account the difficulty of the property, right? So if you're dealing with like a 45-degree angle and you're putting your life at risk on your machine going downhill.
Yeah. Downhill, or if you're going across it, you're like, all right, I have to turn left if this thing gets a little squirrely, so I can ride into the lean.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
y'all got to ride some of my heels.
Well,
Oh.
we got a few steep ones around. Trust me, there's not much good land around here left, so they're building on anything and everything, and there are yards that have got some pretty good pitches to them.
They do.
When
They really
the
do.
And
when
that
the
probably
grasshopper-
end with a
sorry.
retaining wall at the bottom of them.
Lake
Yeah.
Providence.
Yeah. Well, I have not gone amphibious yet. We know someone who has, but
Hey, you haven't lived until you fished an aerator out of a lake. I'm just going to end it at that.
no, we haven't yet. We have not.
No, I have a property that I've literally named the White Cliffs of Dover because there's just a sudden drop off, and it goes down about 30 feet. So everything that gets done around that edge, it gets done by hand because I'm too, even with the brand new Permagreen. I'm afraid. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. It's one thing to watch. My son Shane really grow as an applicator, doing it and watching him go after some of these properties that I probably at the time when I was riding him was like, yeah, and now he just whips around on it. I'm like, yeah, I don't even. If I go help him, I am just the helper. I literally will like cut the bag, clean up in the trailer, get the blower. Probably going to get yelled at every third stop that I'm not doing something right, and I'm talking too much to the customer, and and he's got it. He's banging right along, so it's
You
good.
sound like my uncle right now. I'm always fussing at him.
Yeah. No, that's funny. Yeah.
It's the way it is.
It's the way it is. Yeah. I know. I
Demay,
always
there's nothing wrong with Demay's eyes, seeing all the sexiness on the screen.
he's so see we had to put him front middle. So that's
Mhm.
what
We're gonna do a Princess Cut shout out to OSU Turf Man.
Yeah, right.
Are we gonna give the shout out to We Care Won't Care?
I don't know who's that.
The St. Jude Fund. The one
Oh.
on at 9:00.
Yep. Hey.
Yeah.
No, we donated to that.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
great cause. Great
was.
cause.
A great cause. Sure.
No, as soon as they texted me about it, I said, "Yeah, I'm in." And we made a good donation, and that hits close to home for a lot of people. It hits close to home for our family and a lot of others. So that was a great cause.
Yeah, for sure. Right there with you. Did the same thing. Same thing.
So busy. Was
Leslie,
this your? I'm sorry. I don't want to take over
go
for you,
ahead.
but I
Go
want
ahead.
to know: was this busy? Was this your first day out applicating, or you been out, or?
No, I started January 5th. I'm
Oh.
177 yards deep already.
Good for you.
Yeah, he blows
All
my
right.
mind.
I'm 177 beers deep in the season, so.
Yeah, that's how many beers we've had since he started.
Yeah, no. Hey, look, I've done a podcast or
No,
two, a little on the liquid end, but I try to hold it together for you.
No, that's how many he had on the last Zoom call.
Oh, what?
No.
When I was up till 4:30 in the morning. I was
Oh, were
like,
you?
I gotta get off. Yeah, the last one I was on, I was up till 4:30 in the morning. I was like, I have to get off. My wife's gonna come downstairs to go to work, and I'm gonna still be sitting here drinking. So this is.
It wasn't too long. I think it was when we had Jay Bartley on the show, and Mike invited me on to the chat after, and I had stuff to do, and I was doing stuff, and I said, oh, I'll just stop in for a few minutes and check on everyone. And I ended up talking to Ray until like 5:30 in the morning. So
I tell you what, those are some deep dives right there. I've done it. I've done the Thirsty Thursday, and then done the after show, and then hung out with Ray till 4 or 5 in the morning. And basically that's how we created my seasonal plan. I reviewed everything with him, and got the blessing to go out and go spray, low rates.
yeah. That's
I
funny.
remember when we finished the Thirsty Thursday, we went to the general chat, and I was on my way to go do my commercials at like 6 a.m. And I was like, "Hey Ray, I'm hitting my first stop. I got to go, man."
Hey,
It
so
was
I
like 5
to-
the morning before.
yeah, I don't know how you did that. That's impressive.
A lot of Red Bulls, a lot of monsters.
Yeah, Captain
And
Doug.
youth. There's a lot of youth in that. You had a question, Brent?
I do, and I think this is a pretty pertinent topic for us Massachusetts folks. I called Lushy the other day. I was driving by one of my customers' lawns, and it's one that doesn't have irrigation and needs seeding. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna call Lushy on this one and ask him, what do you think about February dormant seeding? So I've never done that. All mine have been in December, and you dropped some knowledge on me, Lushy, about that, and I just wanted you to share that with our viewers.
So trying to get it more towards your later in the season gives you a little less chance of the seed drying out, especially this year. It's also your dormant winter seedings. You really got to try to pay attention to your weather patterns. Like, normally you probably have snow, so a December one might work where you get capped off, you get it down in December, that will stay there all winter long if you have snow cover, and that's perfect. It's a nice blanket. You get that freeze thaw action working underneath that blanket, working that seed down in there, and then when the ground temperatures get up, you get that germination right away. This year, with it being very bare, very warm, as we were laughing, Saturday it was -6 with a -26-degree wind chill, and then
That warm?
yeah. Well, no, that was cold, and
was
that was
cold.
down. That was cold. That was cold.
Okay.
But then the next day, on Sunday, I think by 1 o'clock, I think we were up to almost 50 degrees. Like, and it's been bonkers this year.
It really has.
And like Littleton, we get rainstorms versus snowstorms, and we usually get some. It's not, we're not Maine, we're not getting dumped. Brent gets a little more because he is a little more inland. I do have that little more ocean effect. I get a little more warmth, but you try to gauge it so you can try to get it in there. And I've talked to DeMay about this because we used to do these at the rec. And I was a big, like, I don't like doing this because I always look at numbers. Doesn't mean I always look at them right. But your germination rates are 50% with a dormant seeding. So you have to be heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You run the risk of getting, my biggest problem was, you get an early March spring up warm up.
Sure.
Where all of a sudden, hey, the snow's gone. It's 50, 60 degrees for 2 or 3 weeks. And then by the third week of March, in like a lion, in like a lamb, out like a lion, we get that. And you get that, March 18th snowstorm, and it dumps 3 inches of ice, not even snow. And what happened? How much loss did you get off of that? And then, like I said to Brent, was, you better stagger or be prepared to create a pre-emergent program for that, because now you have these delicate little seedlings growing, and if you go out with your dithiopyr or prodiamine, you're good chance of killing off more. So what's your return on investment with it? Does it work? Yep. It does work. Like the rec department that I work for, the gentleman that did the program before me did an amazing job. They ran 28012 all year long. Okay. And they did dormant seeding, and that's how they did it. And they just threw it at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there were weed problems where they weren't the greatest, but again, they were rec fields, but they were very good rec fields. I'm not going to begrudge the guy that was before me. He set up a great facility. So, I mean, there's things that you learn that, you want to create. And even it's something that I've talked to Ray about, even for people that were fall renovations, where maybe not going in with your prodiamine or dithiopyr because of the root pruning effect that you get from those, to go in with maybe a mesotrione, tenacity, and a quinclorac program, because quinclorac is a pre-emergent that people forget about.
Right. Yep.
And try to, limp your way through for a couple, get yourself through those first couple months, and then maybe follow up with a dithiopyr at the end. Let that grass kind of get a little bit of establishment.
So I know it's a little bit more cost for some people, but what about running a sulfentrazone?
You could do that too.
It has pre-emergent,
but it does have pre-emergent capabilities, but it will ding early turf. Okay. So that was from something I listened to DeMay and Ryan talk about, and I put together one lawn that I had really done a real heavy, new seeding, and I went by and I could not figure out why this yard in middle of April, I mean, lawns are thriving, and this one, it just looks dinged and delayed. And we had gone out with a 6 ounce per acre rate in our mixture of sulfentrazone because we were using it for nutsedge.
Right.
So we wanted to get water in, and we did 2 apps of that, and it just kind of was like, it was green. It looked a little tingy and just didn't jump out of the ground and grow. And then probably like around June, it really like let loose, and it was just trying to fight its way through it.
Yeah, cool season is it definitely is pretty sensitive to sulfentrazone. It does funny things. You can see some bluegrasses just completely just check right out after you went a little heavy or something like that.
Or bent grass.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which may or may not be a bad thing, like that may be part of the reason I'm spraying what I'm spraying, is because I hate it secretly and just want it to go away. So, busy, be proud of my mixture. And, we're running sulfentrazone, triclopyr, and mesotrione.
Yeah. I like it.
Going out of, 32 ounces per 1,000.
Sounds like something I would do for a common Bermuda.
Yeah.
So I really did want to touch upon the amount of creeping bent grass that is in Massachusetts.
It is brutal.
It's literally everywhere, right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
and it stands out like a sore thumb. So I mean, it's a lighter green color, and it's blotchy. It spreads by stolons. Thank God it
Yep.
has no rhizomes, right? Because that would be the worst.
Yep.
So it when and it's so sensitive, right? So it's sensitive, and it you go near it with the wrong kind of chemical, or you look at it funny, it kind of shrivels
Oh.
up for a little while, and then
Yep. Then comes
and then it
back.
comes storming back, right? So
Yeah. You think, oh, I got it. Yes, good. All right. And no, it was just brown for like a month or two, and then it comes back. And then also, as people do around here, their height of cut gets changed all the time. As we get warmer, they're raising their height of cut, and you get up into that 3.5, 4 inch height of cut, and it looks horrible. It is the most mangy looking turf because it wants to be that. It's perfect for a golf green. It wants to be that short. It does not want at all to be 4 inches tall, and then it gets just leggy looking and brown, and people are like, what did you spray? And then maybe you do spray it with something, and now it's just a big ugly nastiness.
yeah,
It really is.
It's
the bane of my existence.
No, and I'm right with you there, and the amount of service calls it generates. You get the call where the grass is looking fine on top, but it's turning brown underneath. Well, those are all the the stolons and the rhizome, not rhizomes, all the stolons just going nuts, and you're getting these little leaf growth on the top, and people
Yep.
freak out about it. So I'm right there with you. It's for Massachusetts. It's something that I want everyone to be aware of, that it's out there. It is a grass type. It's not a desirable grass type to a lot of us lawn care operators, is I guess what I'm trying to get at, right? So
Yeah, and there is no easy way to get rid of it. And I get customers that ask, and I'm like, "Ooh, it's a program. Like, I can't just spray it with 2 applications of a herbicide and it's gonna go away. It requires, going in and spraying it with different products, coming in. I mean, you want to be really aggressive with it. You're mechanically detaching it. And I'm not talking the little spring rakes on the front of the mowers, which are great in the spring, not to begrudge the landscapers that are out doing that. That's great to clean up, get the dead debris up. It rakes the yard nice. It beats going out there with a spring rake and raking the thing.
sure.
But getting that flail detacher on it and then spraying it again, coming back in about 3 weeks and doing it again, and then coming back in 3 weeks and doing it again. And that's laborious and that's expensive. And people kind of go, oh, I've been on jobs where we've sod cutted it out. I worked for a guy where we went in and actually sod cutted it all out and laid sod in. Well, we got rid of the lime green and put in dark, sod, which was all, Kentucky bluegrass. And this guy had a ryegrass lawn, and we changed colors of our dots, like, so, and we went from like oblong circle dots to big, rectangular patches in the lawn. And I was like, whatever, dude, like, you're the boss, man. This is what we're doing. But
Wow.
Yeah. And and when I talk about color, I know I talked about it briefly before, but bent grass just meets its genetic limit. So there's no sense in spraying it out with iron or something, because it will
Nope.
never match the color of your blue
Never.
or grass. It'll just never do it.
Right. No. Especially if you have lawn supplies companies, Elite ryegrass. I'm
Oh,
big.
yeah.
I'm a giant fanboy of Ryan Knorr, and actually used his product just to FAFO, and
Sure.
just I was like, you know what? Let's see. I used his shade mix at $500 for 50 pounds. And it has, after on this one shady yard, has done better than I've done in 5 years.
No kidding. Really.
So
Really?
it was, the shade mix was outstanding.
Great.
And then I use his ryegrass, which was reasonable, a little more expensive than you're buying even your higher end grass seed. But man, that house came in beautiful. Absolutely. I mean, what a color on that. I'm really excited to see year 2 on that house.
That's
I
awesome.
got some of the green ore, and I'm just waiting for a FAFO for you.
Do you have the Green Ore SP?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's a really nice product. The best part, it's non-staining. So when you're spraying, and if you do the best you can, you get a little on the concrete, you do not get a yellow. And I actually went to my sidewalk and was like, you know what? Let's see if it stains. And I back and forth over the thing like 4 times, and it didn't stain at all. The one thing that is a super dry, fine powder.
Is it?
So
I have
I have never dealt with anything like that. You go to put that in because you have to measure it by weight. And you're trying to pour it in something, and it just comes out and just poof, it's in the air. I mean, it's you have to be careful, and it gets everywhere, and it statically charges to the cup that it's going in. I mean,
Oh no.
yeah, like I was doing it in my measuring beaker. I zeroed out my scale and dumped it in, and the thing just went to the side of it. I mean, it got weighed, but it was
Yeah.
What's Evie say? It's literally dust, not even a powder. That's 100%
Yeah.
true. It is. It's dust. It's. I mean, everyone's probably done some sheetrock and done some sanding, and that fine dust that gets in the air, it's finer than that. It's amazing. But what a great product.
Is it finer than lime powder coming off the sprayer?
Probably. Well, that fine cloud that rolls around you, where you look like Pigpen driving across the lawn.
Yeah.
It's probably about there, right about that atomic level.
I
So,
can remember
Brent,
it. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you ever see Lushy's video on the Discord that he posted about lime in the yard?
No, that was actually how to manually throw a product.
Oh,
That
yeah.
has many applications. That's not just lime. That's about manually doing an application and how to get Tommy John surgery in the same throwing motion. I learned that how to do that on the YouTubes.
YouTube professional.
Did you learn that from Budget
Nope.
or Princess?
Nope.
I getting back to
Someone closer to you.
Someone closer
getting
to
back
me.
to the fine lime applications. I remember grabbing. This was a few years back. I had to do a lime route, and I had the bags that were at the bottom of the pallet on my truck, and it was probably one of the windiest days of the year. And I remember all the customers coming out and just seeing the plumes of dust as I was going out in the back. And this is with a cover on and everything, and just being completely just covered in lime. Just wiping my eyes so I could see to talk to the customer. Going, yeah, no, this is fine. This is what I was told to do. Everything's going great. It's pelletized, I swear.
It is. I'd stand there. I'll drive by and hit you with it. You'll feel it. It is. I can't. There's got to be a better way for lime. And it is not. I'm sorry. It is not amps. We were talking about it before. The amp fast acting. I love spreading it. I love to spread. I tried it. I was like, this is great, but you don't get the volume down that you need.
Well, I mean, we can't all pull a Ray and go potassium nitrate.
Yeah, no, you got to be realistic, and I can't bulldoze every lawn and rototill in every the 100 pounds or 150 pounds I need, 8 inches deep,
and then cap it with sand,
and then cap it with sand, and yeah, I'd like to get my lawn done. Sure, that'll be $82,000.
And a lien on the house.
Yeah, yep.
For collateral.
I accept cash.
Yeah. Great. I think for me over the years I've learned that the one thing that I can see amp working for is it following like an AMS application, right? So if you're like really bringing down uh, the acidity in a liquid application, and then bringing that back up with AMP. For me, I think that's the only tool that I would use that as. But other than that, I would just stick to the our what do we call pro dolomitic lime or whatever.
Yeah, dolomolitic. I mean, I'll use calcitic if I can. So I'll do this year. We didn't, but in past years we've done calcitic at the end
Mhm.
for our end of the year, and I would do for people that need larger pH corrections, we'll run dolomolitic because they probably are got a magnesium deficiency, so we're gonna use that to try to bring that up.
Yeah.
And the calcitic is a lot better actually than the dolomolitic. It's actually a lot nicer to spread.
Yeah, I would say it is. Yeah, and I think we could use that more, but we need that magnesium, right? I mean,
We do. Yeah.
here.
Yeah, where I can run that calcitic lime a lot more often than y'all can. But there again, whatever they have a pallet of, okay, well I need 4 of these.
Mhm.
I mean, when you get to the end of it, they need a pH correction. So we're gonna do. That's all they got, then that's what I'll use. It's because sometimes you do have to work that way. Your best plan is to use the right thing, but you might have to use option B.
Mhm.
You might have to go from a 1648 to a 1608.
Yeah.
They're done that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to use what's available to you. Sure.
I mean, Lush X is off the market, so I mean, we're all lost. We don't know what to do.
One day it will be brought back.
One
We're
day,
just
hey,
we are waiting for that day.
We are a vigilant crowd waiting for that to come back. I may or may not lead the charge on getting that to try to come back. I even hound poor Ryan Knorr about it. I'm like, hey, I think Lush X would be a great addition into your product line. He laughs.
I think we need to take the best from the 2005 Lebanon Mesa. Take the Lush X, combine them, and figure out which works the best. And call it Lush X 2.0.
So I mean, Lush X was born from Matt's Carbon Earth days. It was from his Balance X, which was a 1648, which is funny that that's what you were looking for. And us not needing a phosphorus, I was working with a buddy of mine who has a much bigger company. He's 700 accounts. He buys a trailer load of product at a time. So he was buying stuff from Matt, and we were both talking about like, hey, we don't the Carbon X Pro, it's too much nitrogen for the middle of the summer. We want something a little dialed back. And Matt and I were talking. He's like, like that Balance X would be perfect with that 1648, but we don't need the 4. He's like, oh, I can take that out, and we'll just fill it in with biochar in the middle. And I called my buddy. He was like, yeah, perfect. So he's like, yeah. I said, all right, we order up 22 pallets of it. And so Matt and I are talking. And he's like, my buddy owns his company's Wicked Green Lawn Care, and he's like, we'll get wicked, make it Wicked Green. We'll call it Wicked Green. And so we were joking. Matt's like, oh yeah. It's like, maybe. Like everything's got an X on the end of yours. Maybe we just call it Lush X. And Matt loved it. And he's like, that's it. We're gonna call it. I goes, I'll do that. And I'm all geeked out, right? Like, here we are. I got a fertilizer coming out with my name on it. I'm like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I proceeded not to tell my buddy that he was getting 22 pallets of Lush X. He gets the trailer, gets delivered, he gets the call, he's unloading it. And he unloads one, and he looks. He doesn't really pay attention. He's like in his 4th, 5th pallet, and he looks, and he's like, "That says Lush X on it. Oh, that must be for Aaron." He unloads another one. He goes to more, and they start looking around at all the pallets, and he's like, "These all say Lush X." He unloads them all, and he's like, "That MFer, these are all Lush X." He calls me up. He's like, "What the hell? What happened to Wicked Green?" I'm like, "I don't know. I told Matt, and he thought, I don't know. This is what he sent." So it was, I'm from like a probably a good 2-3 weeks he was putting that out, and he's stupid Lush X, stupid Lush X. So my buddy is at a gas station filling up and sees one of his guys and looks in the back of the truck and sees Lush X. He's like, "Oh my God, you got Lush X. That stuff's awesome." His guy goes back to him. He's like, "I was filling up at the pump and some guy looked over and recognized our fertilizer." He called me up. He's like, "Who the hell do you know that knows that I have this?" It was fun. It was fun. But it's, so we like to rib Matt and try to get him to make some more. When I can get up to being able to make him produce 100 tons, then we'll order some.
Well, maybe I can help you in that department.
There we go. We can get it to come back.
I could help. I'm ordering 20 pallets a year.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Not counting ball fields that I'm ordering 4 bags. That's 2,800 pounds a piece.
And so for me, the Lush X is probably evolved through knowledge in soil testing, like talking with Ray and seeing where our soil tests has come.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, are you super deficient in potassium?
Me or Mike?
Brent? No, Brent.
It depends on the area. Like we were talking before, there are some areas where my potassium levels are spot on and they're perfect. And then there's other areas where they're just totally in the tank. They're just crapped right out. So
33 parts per million or less.
yeah.
That's I think my average is like 35 parts per million, and that's after a couple hundred soil tests and averaging it out, where I've kind of come up with that 20-0-20 that I run now as my base.
Sure.
Because it's very rare that I get one that says it doesn't need 4 pounds per thousand across the season of potassium.
Sure. Yeah. And I think that's where having those resources available to you, like a soil test, is very important, right? So if we're putting a mark on something, let's say you're the third company to the line and nothing's changed and they're running their regular 1803 or whatever, and then you go, has anybody ever done a soil test? And they go, what's a soil test? You know what?
Yeah. It's true. It really is true. That's kind of the thing I get. There's another company out that does do it around my area, and I'll tell you, I'll get unhappy customers, and it's usually, it's that customer that may be surfing customers or companies, excuse me. But I get them, and their pH is actually corrected, which for me is a surprise.
Okay.
I think if my average new boarding customer is around
give me just a second.
Yep.
Sure. Okay.
Like I think probably like sub 5.5, probably like a 5.2 is like our new boarding customer, with some down in a 4.8. But some of those people that come off of that particular company, their pH is usually up where it needs to be. It's up in like a 6 or a 6.2, and it's a nice treat. Like, we don't have to get the plane and do an air drop on it like we're putting out a forest fire,
Yeah. You can save the fuel on Cessna and and I mean, we touched upon it earlier, but maybe you and I can get on our Massachusetts soapbox here and tell our people how important getting that pH to where it needs to be, and how much lime we need to get it there, right? So
100%. It really makes a huge difference, because if you don't have that pH in that right parameter, you're really wasting your money on your fertilizer. I know there's a lot of throw them down guys, and they want to just keep banging it down, and what they're seeing by putting down the excess is they're supplementing, because their pH is off. They have to put so much excess down to get that response out of their lawn, where if they could get their pH corrected, they could probably dial back the rate that they're putting down and still have the same results that they want. And that's a very difficult thing, because you and I are on some of the local Facebook lawn forums that are, the residential guys, and you try to educate them, but they are in that mind warp of like, let's just throw down and apply.
Right.
And it is one way to do it, but it's not great for the environment because you're going to get leaching. You're just not going to utilize it. And even if it's, if you go back and look at my first Thirsty Thursday that I was on with Matt, and he saw my soil test, and he basically thought you and I were basically making applications on the surface of Mars.
Yeah.
He's like, does grass even grow? What do these lawns look like?
Yeah.
So it's, you really do got to get that pH. And I have some customers that financially cannot afford the extra lime applications.
Right.
So I've implemented a program, which I, don't do it all the time, but the circumstances where, and I got this from Matt, was, skip the fertilizer round one and spread lime, at a reduced rate. So I'll do 12.5 pounds per 1,000.
Sure.
The joy of owning a permagreen is I'm spraying liquids for everything. I know you're a granular guy, so your pre-emergents are there. I'm spraying my herbicides and my pre-emergents, so I can still put lime down. I can change my granular and then put my liquid down to get the same weed control I need to get. Then we'll come in and give it some fert in round 2, round 3. We'll go back, give it another lime, and then we'll see where we are on the scale of, how much lime do they need, and we'll see if we continue that through the season, or do we do, more fertilizer and go through it that way.
Yeah, I think that's actually a really, really good approach. One of the things that I'm doing with a few of my project lawns is that I just let them know that this is a project lawn. This is going to be a 3-year turnaround. Instead of getting your 4 fertilizer, 5 fertilizer program, you're going to get 2 fertilizers and you're going to get 3 limes. And we're going to time out those fertilizers, and we're probably going to have to add seeding to that. And so just the expectations right up front. So it's one of the things I always kind of like drive home on my channel, is like setting the right expectations. So having those difficult conversations and telling them like, this is going to be fixed in 2 weeks,
Yeah. And that's sorry, getting feedback. Having worked with, I told you I used to do, landscape construction, setting expectations where you are designing and trying to describe what your drawing looks like, or what the pavers the 4 pavers you have and what that retaining wall looks like, and trying to describe that. Setting an expectation is a major thing for them to understand. And I kind of brought that into doing lawn care, and just like you said, measuring like, hey, this is going to be, are you here for the slow game, or do you want the fast game? All right. What's your budget? Well, your budget tells me you have a 4-year plan, and you do not have the, I'm sure you get it. I want my lawn to look like Fenway Park.
Yeah.
I say, sure, no problem. I actually have the guy's phone number who goes in, removes the sod, and resods it twice a year.
Yeah.
Yes, they have a full-time groundskeeper, and he goes and tours around the country and gives talks, but he's resodded twice a year.
Right.
So if you want to put that money in there and put that kind of drainage and irrigation and everything that's in that they have, we can do it. I'll make your yard look like Fenway Park. But for right now, sir, your yard is 6 inches of sand and you have fine fescue all over it. We're going to do the best we can.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes back to, you got 3 options. You get to pick 2: good, cheap, and fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which 2 do you want?
100%.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, and that's a big thing around here, because I don't know, it's highly competitive, but in the sense that people are also willing to pay a premium to get a result, right? So having those customers on your team and willing to put in the work is huge. So, and that makes it a win win-win situation too.
Yeah, no, and people are, I was telling Jay Bartlett this last night in our conversation. I talked to him. I try to describe what we do as more of, like a true green serves a purpose. They will kill some weeds. They'll put some fertilizer, they'll get you greenish, they'll get you there. Better than not doing anything. But I kind of equate them to McDonald's. That's a cheeseburger from McDonald's. It's $2.99. It's cheap. It's fast. It's across the board. It's always the same. You're going to get what you get. We're a higher end restaurant that you are ordering a $35 cheeseburger. You're going to get a brisket chuck, Black Angus beef, ground beef in there. You're going to get a special cheese. You're going to get your onions how you want them or whatever you want on it. Special bun. It's going to be a beautiful, tasty burger.
Yeah.
We're that.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, look, McDonald's burger at 2 a.m. after a few beers, they're tasty. But
Yeah.
it's not. It may not be what you're looking for. So you kind of, again, setting expectations of this is where we're going to try to go.
No, you're absolutely right. And if you do want a high-end meal, you can always visit downtown Worcester at 111 Chop House.
That was delicious. That was a great and I didn't even see the symbolism of it being the 111 at 111 Chop House. For our Discord members understanding what that joke, inside baseball joke
Yeah.
is.
No, it was perfect. It was meant to be.
It really was.
So is that where we're gonna meet up when I fly into Boston?
That may be.
Sure.
We may drive you out there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I got to come up there in December. I got
Yeah.
a wedding I got to go to in New Hampshire.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
you're staying in New Hampshire, right?
Yeah, but we're flying into Boston, dropping up.
Yeah, you'd have to drive out.
Yeah.
You have to drive out, then go up, but you could do it. You don't.
To the
You're on
south.
vacation.
We're going up. We're going up.
Yeah,
All
well,
I know is we're going north.
when you get there, you're gonna have to take a left.
Got it right?
Yeah. And you
What
gotta
about
look.
a roundabout?
Yeah, they're there. They're around.
So
If
I
you
just
hit
cross,
Maine, you went too far.
keep going straight.
Just look for the signs that say Worcester.
That's it.
Thankfully, I got the mail order bride to tell me where to go.
What's the $1.25 guy?
Real question for both of y'all. Where do I go to get a good scorpion ball?
Oh, they
you
took that. We had a place called the Hukilau here that was so well known for its scorpion bowl. I mean, people come in from all over. Unfortunately, they closed the place in the last 2 or 3 years. But
Yeah,
that
and
was
I think by the time you get up here, the Grand Poobah is going to be closed up in Saugus. What is the name of? Oh God, they talk about it on sports radio all the time. I can't think of it. But there's one in Faneuil Hall. That's in Boston. You're gonna want to go there. There's a Chinese restaurant. You get a nice scorpion bowl right there. I think my buddy owns that one.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a guy that has a restaurant here in town, and then he says he's got one up in Faneuil Hall, and Daniel will take care of you.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell them Lushy sent you.
Yeah, yep. I'll give you a different name. I go by many names, so.
Yeah, I do the same.
As our attorney would say, it's probably the best choice.
This is true.
I'm the only personal LLC on the internet, I think, on history of the internet. But
Really?
yeah, so those were some of the things I really wanted to talk about tonight, and essentially is liming is incredibly important, especially for New England lawns. Getting that magnesium up, certainly dealing with potassium, but also and I've been to. I'm sure you've been to these seminars too, Lushy, is where you have drought performance improvement and recovery from lawns that are better balanced in pH, right? So they're They're
Yep.
able to get the nutrients that they need, the carbohydrates stored into them before, like we entered last season, a big drought season.
Oh,
Right?
I tell you, that was a brutal, stressful season. I know it was for you. And it was for my buddy. Like we just basically we'd call each other and say, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, I got him doing some work around the house. I have to try to keep him busy. He's got 3 guys working for him, and I got to keep him doing something so that we're building a garden in the new house we got. And I got him cleaning up here or doing this, and there was nothing we could do. There was 3-4 weeks it got so bad you couldn't do anything.
Right.
I shut down mowing in October. I run mowing till December.
Yeah, I remember you encountered an early shutdown, right? So you missed
Well,
out.
October got chilly for a little bit for us.
Yeah.
It did.
And then November got warm. So, like we went out 3 weeks, 2-3 weeks later than we wanted to for our seedings, because normally, you're starting your renovations that last week or so in August for us, and then you're starting your aeration and overseedings. Like full renovations, you might put a couple in. We're small, so that's all we're gonna do. And then we're starting our aeration and overseeding, first week of September, and we're going probably for a couple weeks. Then we're coming in with another round of FERT or cleanup or doing something else, or fungicide apps, mosquito apps. So that then you're going into October, and then you're gonna finish your next round, and then you're gonna do your line. Well, we sat there for 3 weeks, and like I felt, and I know you were running late on things, Brent, but
Oh yeah.
for us, we got our fertilizer out way later than I wanted to. I wanted to be done actually earlier this year than we even did, because the past 2 or 3 years we have finished with snow falling on our heads doing the last lime application. And we've had time where we've actually had to stop. Then it warmed up, it melted away, and then we went out and finished because we got a little, we had a Thanksgiving snowstorm that came in and dusted everything over. You're like, well, all right. And you see the long range, all right, it's going to melt. We'll go back out and we'll get that lime application down.
I think one of the things that saved me this year was that November warm up, because I'm not a guy that likes, and you shouldn't, for one, anybody who's watching, put down fertilizer on turf that isn't growing, but actively growing. So I'm one of the guys that we actually saw grass start to actively grow again in November. And I was like, great, now I can finish my round. All right, let's go, Tucker. We're running.
I remember that stress.
I mean, there's, we'll throw a little shout out for the Discord that we belong to, or our buddies over at the Grass Factor. You learn from. I love listening to Mr. DeMay, where he talks about your return on investment for your nitrogen in the end of the season, where you may only get a 40% return or less. It's diminished as your growing cycle starts to end. So, these guys that are out, well, I'm going to put this down. It'll be sitting there for me in the spring getting ready. No, it's going to be gone. Absolutely.
Who's that guy in Florida?
I'm just saying anybody that might be doing that kind of thing or using that advice and spreading that advice.
And it actually, it comes from old school thought. I mean, there were old textbooks that said to do that. Right? So, I mean, there was.
Yep.
It's not like pulled out of the blue and made up. That was just
no. There is, and it's you want to get your quick release out, and you want to get it while the grass is gobbling it up, and that's usually the beginning, end of September, the very beginning of October, and try to get that carbohydrate storage for the winter, so it does jump out of the ground come spring.
Yep, definitely. Now, Mike, for you now, do you provide any particular fungicides this early in the season, or do you wait until a little bit later?
I'm waiting till when I run my first round fertilizer for my warm season, about April, May-ish.
Okay.
What do you guys get down there about that time of year? What's your crux at the beginning?
So far, so good. I haven't seen anything that's been detrimental to me. But normally, if I know I have moisture issues, if I know we're getting a lot of fucking rain, if I know, okay, we're gonna have a rain with cold front, or we're gonna have a rain with a hot front, we're gonna have high humidity. All my zoysias, all my fescues come into play, and I'm like, okay, well, let's run preventative rates instead of reacting.
Mhm.
Yeah, but what kind of? I mean, I guess our question would be more of what are you seeing for the type of fungus? What are you
What type
seeing?
of are you seeing?
I've seen, well, Bermuda. I see dollar spot a lot. I see rust. I see. What was that other one?
So up here we run into in the springtime. It's red thread becomes an issue.
Yeah, and it has been
I don't
ornery
really
this
see
the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because usually that'll hang around. You'll get a little bit come late April, beginning of May, and we get that heat, and it kind of goes away. And now it's been holding on into June, July, just festering. If you don't take care of it, it'll actually become damaging, which normally it didn't used to. Used to be like, a fertilizer wrap will get rid of it. You'll outgrow it. You'll push it right out and get rid of it and collect the clippings, and you'll be good. And that doesn't seem to be. It's interesting that's kind of mutating and becoming a little stronger. So you don't get any of that, Mike?
I haven't seen red thread here, and I couldn't tell you how long, but I do see large patch. I do see fairy ring.
Okay. Mhm. All right. Yeah, I would think we're less prone to get fairy ring out here, but there was a franchise that I helped coordinate and train out on the Cape that they said that they would encounter a lot of fairy ring because they had maybe you've seen it. I don't know how much you do out towards the Cape, Lushy, but the higher water table created some
Okay,
was the issue for that.
interesting. Yeah, about as close as we get is Middleborough.
Okay.
I don't know if you. So I mean, that's about as close as we'll get to it, which isn't really the Cape, but it's sandy. It's down in that direction.
Mhm.
We really don't run into fairy ring too much at all. I don't think I can't even recall seeing any. Large patch very rarely, or even summer patch. That's a rarity to even find that. We'll get some brown patch. That'll rear its ugly head, but not too bad. Like you see it, but the grass looks off, but it's not like, oh my god, what's wrong with my grass? I think it's an acceptable thing around here that people just are used to seeing their lawn look a little funky in the summer.
Right.
Dollar spot kind of rears its ugly head later on.
Yep.
And then leaf spot is kind
Gray
of my
leaf.
next. Yep, gray leaf
Yeah.
spot comes in, and then it's maybe we roll back into some more of the red thread and rust.
Mhm. Yeah, rust is a funny one. That one's one of those magical diseases where you get a service call. It's like, why are my my tennis
Why are my
shoes
shoes orange?
and then you go out and you fertilize or you do your whatever to it, and then like 3 days later, it's like it was never there.
Yep.
Or at least a week. Maybe I'm exaggerating that. At least a week later, it's like it was a distant memory that can only be seen on your New Balance.
And
You-
that's
You want to know my favorite solution to rust on zoysia?
Go ahead. Tell me.
Walk over to the irrigation box, turn that bitch off.
Yeah. I get rust on one of my lawns, and it's because I think it's just too much water. They have a lot of trees. It's that shady yard I used Ryan's grass on, and it's it got to the point she wanted grass in extreme dense shade, and I said, look, the only way we're going to do this is seed twice a year, spring and fall, just because the grass will get to a certain point and then say, I don't want to live here anymore. And I said, we'll just put the new young crop in, and it'll say, let's grow. And then it'll die. I'm like, and that's all we can do. And I And I tried last year to not do it. I said, let's just do the regular. No. It looks so good. I want to keep doing this. Okay, it's your money. I don't complain that it's expensive because you're the one that wants to do this.
Yeah. And sometimes you just gotta let it ride, right? So
Yeah,
Um,
let's for 3 or 4 years we've really been working on getting this up. Let's try one season without it.
Mm.
She's very obsessive compulsive. Her yard is perfect. She has been known by telling me she has taken a backpack blower off a landscaper's back to show him how to blow the beds out before he cuts.
oh, gee. Yeah. So that
He
person,
didn't come back anymore.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
But
Yeah. We had I had a helper with me this year at the end of the season, and we had a customer watch my helper blow off the fertilizer off the sidewalk and her hardscapes and stuff, and she proceeded to direct them around to every single leaf that was on the property.
I was like, what I said to you earlier today, not one fucking prill.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So this was the equivalent of that, except it was the 7 maple leaves that were on the property.
Speaking of that,
so
hang on, Lucky, let me send you that one.
So this winter, I don't know about you, I've been doing a deep dive into the job costing.
Yeah. Let's get into that a little bit, right?
So like at nauseum, like down to, we have about 130 customers. I think it worked out. I think I told Tifway I had like 1,300 entries. With 1,300 jobs on those, and I went through every single customer, every single job they had done, and then put it in the spreadsheet. Time that was there, it calculates out the materials. I put that in there,
Sure.
and just costing it and going through and seeing who's the winner and who's the loser. And the point of being in business is for us to be the winner.
Right.
If you're a lawn care applicator, like you're there to make money.
Right.
I like doing it. And if I got out of this business, I might do, my yard and maybe 2 others, and that might be it. I may not even do that.
I mean, if I ever won the Powerball for like 800 million, yeah, I'd still do this.
Yeah, the reason I'm on this is because I didn't win the 720 million.
Well, we all
because
won.
if I won this one the other night, I probably would have been on here, but I probably would have been crawling out from underneath the table drunk. So,
would you be having the Bud Light or would you be having the wine bottle?
I don't know. I might go to the 16-ounce Bud Lights to celebrate.
Yeah,
Get the big tall boys.
Yeah, you gonna get the 24s?
No. They get
or
warm.
Double fist the 40s.
They get warm. So just going through and job costing and seeing on a job, I actually thought we did well on. I was like, oh, this is a good, new price structure, and this is going to do well. And I actually lost money. I think, where is it? It's right up here at the computer doesn't crash while I do this. He's right up here at the top. I lost
that double screen action.
Yep, I lost $300.
Wow.
on this guy's labor. Wasn't materials, labor. Too much time on these jobs. And he had a dethatch, spring dethatch, spring aeration, spring slice seeding, multiple applications, but he's an older gentleman who liked to come out and talk. So I'd ask Shannon, does Mr. Hughes like to come out and speak with you? And he's like, yeah. And I always told him, I said, if you're at the job and they talk to you, I want you to stay clocked in because you're there. And I went through and like every single application.
Driveway time.
It was driveway time. Yep. So Mr. Hughes is a really nice guy, and I'll do what I can, but I can't pay him $300 to do his lawn.
You get 15 minutes. After that, I start charging.
So, And I mean, some of our properties, he's small. I think he's 8,000 square feet or something like that. We're done in 8 minutes. Like on an application,
Mhm.
you drop that tailgate, that permagreen is in, out, done, and you're blown off, signs in the ground. It's 8 minutes.
Yeah,
That's it.
I can do an acre in 23 minutes plus blowing. I'm at 25:13.
Yep. So there may be something you have to grab
If I don't have
the
to refill.
sprayer, and you may have to
Sure.
go out and spot spray a couple things because you saw something while you were there. And I want him to do that. I want him to go and do that. But again, you can walk that perimeter. It's generally on the perimeter,
Mhm.
and go through and spot spray it and take care of it. Maybe you're at 12 minutes because it took you another 4 or 5 minutes to go around. You're at 12, 13 minutes.
Mhm.
But that's where I'm seeing, you're seeing that loss. And and it also could be the difficulty of the yard. His yard is a little different. So, maybe the first year you have a customer where you think that, your X amount per 1,000 square feet is going to work. Well, it's not. It's be due to the difficulty that you didn't think it was. Because I can see new customers. I see his stop time start going down through the year because I can see him getting used to his plan of attack and how he's doing it and going through it. So I kind of take that into
Have you
account
thought
too.
about a difficulty of skill on the yard?
I think I might add that a little bit, but I also, if we can get it done and where I think it needs to be in year one, okay, and then year two, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And
Right.
this year is fool me twice, and I'm not going to let that happen. He's going to need a bigger percentage increase than some of the other customers. There was some material increase this year, but not as dramatic as last year or the year before. I mean, there's been those years were crazy.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, my FERT jumped 20% this year. The granular FERT.
I pulled documents from 2013. I was paying $7 a bag for fertilizer and like $50 a bag for seed. And I'm looking like it's 10 years. What the hell happened?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
So
No, I know, and you just had it's those prices, and I think a lot of people understood. I think the vast majority of people understand that they're seeing everything go up. This is going to have to go up too, right? So,
right.
um,
Yep.
you know,
And talking with our buddy Mike Tifway, um, I know he's sent some out, he's lost some, and I said, look, you might lose them right now, but they might call you back and say, you know what, we kind of shopped around and your price is actually reasonable, and you might get some of those back, or you
Mhm.
might get them back in a year or two because you were too expensive, and then they got the lower quality for the lower price, and
Right.
after a year or two they go, oh, well, okay, we'll get back at it. No
Right.
hurt feelings.
I
Oh
have
yeah.
seen quadruple the increase on people like that.
Quadruple
What
the
was
what's
Like
that?
like quadruple the income on stuff like that. Like they're oh well, we found somebody cheaper. Like back when I was just like straight mowing. Well, we
Yep.
found this guy for cheaper. Okay, well, okay, if that's your budget, then go for it. Not 3 weeks go by. Hey, I want you back.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you got to pay my premium for my re-sign up fee.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
we'll do whatever.
I think that is a move for some people.
Well,
Maybe not.
It's like Lushy said. We're not McDonald's. We're the
Right.
high end
Exactly.
burger.
No, no, I agree with you. I agree. I
I have
think
ADD and ADHD. My stuff has to be OCD perfect.
sure. Sure. Yeah. No,
Um,
and I go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm looking. There's something I'm looking for real quick. Go ahead.
I think um, generally I've had a few customers sign back on board and over the last 3 years or so, and there were price increases, right? And in those meantimes, and they go, "Oh, geez, I didn't expect it to be this amount," and I go, "Well, this is. I mean, you to be honest, you were underbid to begin with. I mean, I'll be brutally honest. This is a 5,000 or a 6,000 square foot property that has been measured out at 1,000 square feet. So, one, I changed it to the appropriate amount of square footage, and two, on the appropriate amount of square footage, I'm also adding the price increase that we've gone to. And so, we can deliver you the high quality amount of service, but this is the price. And I just stand there and I stay quiet, and they go either yes or no, and 9 times out of 10, it's okay. Yes, let's do it.
And for all you young entrepreneurs out there, that is a hidden sales tip by Brent. The art of being quiet after you have given a price is one of the most difficult things that you can do, but it is the most strategic thing you can do as well, because you don't know what they're thinking about during their silence. They could be running a cost analysis of what their monthly income is to budget, and oh, I got this credit card. Could you take credit? This all is rolling around in their head, and if you start rambling over the top of it, you can talk yourself right out of it.
That's absolutely.
You give your price, and you make it uncomfortably quiet.
You know how many ulcers I have on the back of my tongue from that?
It is one of the most difficult things to do, is to not, because your sales and there is an aspect of sales. You're selling your product, you're selling your service, you're selling you. There's the art to sales is sometimes just being and not saying anything. And the quote for those out there, raising prices, and this is if Mike is still watching, this is for you. The bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of a low price is forgotten. So my father has said that for years, and I couldn't remember it off the top of my head. And it is very poignant. Like it is, you get what you pay for. You want to boil it down. You get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And they might be back, they may not. I mean, who knows? I mean, and it also, you run into like, what is their budget? There's that bit quiet of like, well, geez, I can't afford it. I really want you. I've had customers tell me that. I want you to do it. I love what you do to the neighbors. We can't afford it. Got it. I'd love to have you.
Yeah. If anything changes, here's my number. Give me a call.
Yep. Because it's a business. We're here to make money, and I'm not here to make a job.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to make money in the end, like to make a future.
If you want to see us continuing doing this, then you're going to have to pay that price, right? I mean, honestly, I could spread myself so thin and provide the cheapest price and go right out of business going, okay, that was great. I made everybody happy. Now I'm in the poorhouse.
Right. I'll tell you, one of the for the guys that are out there, one of the guys I love to listen to is Wayne Voles. I don't know if you guys have listened to him, from Profits Unlimited. He's on YouTube. He's on Turfs Up Radio, I think a couple times, and he was in business, and I think he said after his like third or fifth year, he was $90,000 upside down, and he's like, well, we need to get more business. We need more work. That'll fix it. And he's like, it doesn't, because if your numbers aren't right, I know Ryan was on with you guys and asked you, and I wrote in, know your numbers. If you don't know what it's costing you, that's a big thing. You can have a lot of things add up at the end of the year and really kind of suck out that kitty. This was when I started this, I had the city job with the recreation department. I had my pesticide license. I said, I have my license. I'm gonna do this on the side. Started with 12 customers, and I finished with 12 customers, and I was like, I didn't make any money. I mean, I paid for stuff and I had some beer money, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting out of work at 3:30 and I'm coming out and humping this stuff around your yard, till 5, 6 o'clock at night, and I can smell you cooking on the grill and I'm pushing stuff by, and I'm like, this sucks. Like, no, I want to start, and then it grew, and then it became a job, and I'm like, this isn't just like fun. I mean, it was when I was still doing it, it was more, still whatever, it was play money. I was still doing it, when I had 25, 30 customers, it was still play money. And then when Shane got involved, I'm like, okay, at first it was to try to teach him some work ethic some more, and get him working, and he started to like it. And I'm like, well, do you want to do this? After he did it for like half a season, he's like, yeah. So we did a whole season, and he's like, I kind of like it.
Yeah.
He did in not so many words. It's more like, how was school today? Good.
It was good.
It was good. And he's 23, he just turned 24. But I think he enjoys it. And I know.
Was he junior?
Yes, you're junior. He's grasping. He's asking questions. He's
me
reading
and him
stuff.
talked more about the Stinger ride-on aerator with the seed hopper than I think he's ever talked.
Yep. He was really into that because, I mean, to him, he's looking at that as, how can that save me time doing stuff? Because he's out aerating, and we have the X-Mark chain-driven monster.
I got the Toro.
And the hydraulic belts are popping off all the time. He's looking at this going, oh my God, I may not have an issue, and I can just go out and do this, and this will be perfect. I'd love to get one. We're close. I'm this close to pulling the trigger on it.
With that supersized one, me and him went through it and dissected. Like, I stood on one side, he stood on the other. We swapped. Like,
Not buying it. Yep. Not buying the big one. It's way
the whole time
too big.
You and Tiffway were talking, me and him were sitting there dissecting that.
Yep.
And I'm like, I don't see anything about this that I like unless you're in an athletic field.
Yeah, if you're into bigger, and and I know you have bigger equipment, you're almost into that. Or if you just have, it might be good. I know Brent doesn't do it. It might be good for Brent where you have 20, 30,000 square foot, maybe 40, 50,000 square foot properties that are wide open.
If it's wide open, why not a no-till drill? Because it's cheaper.
Because it's easier and more manageable to drive around in a trailer than that is. That's a different trailer. That's a whole different setup. Not everybody's going to do that, and not everybody's comfortable.
This is coming from the guy that has 9 trailers.
Right. There's a KISS principle too. Keep it simple, stupid. Right? Sometimes you have to do that.
I mean, the simple way is if you have a tilt trailer, if you have an equipment trailer. I mean, you could have your enclosed trailer and you could have an equipment trailer.
But you have to have scalability, and a lot of these people that are purchasing this have employees that they're sending them out on, and it's not them doing it. They're buying when you see those pictures on some of the pro sites, and there are 12 Stingers lined up. That guy's not riding one every half hour.
No, he's not.
There's 12 guys. There's probably 24 guys going out and do it. Our buddy Brandon Reinschmidt from Fine Turf, they collapse their spray truck guy down into their dovetail truck, and they run the two together to go do aeration and seeding because it makes a more effective crew. And then when they're back, they split out. So he purchases equipment. Now this was a year or two ago, but he's probably still on the same pattern where he was doing a dovetail truck, then a spray truck, then a dovetail truck, and a spray truck. And that's how he was equipping himself that way.
I mean, I would like to have a 250-gallon skid in my truck as like a nurse tank or a 300-gallon tank. But then there again, it's already pre-mixed. I go through 300 gallons. Then I got to fill that, or I got to fill my Z-sprays up.
Because you're dealing with so much variety, where Brent and I can. That's actually what I do with my 50-gallon skid. Is I will mix for the permagreen at the concentrate rate in the skid, and just use it to nurse it and fill it up, and it agitates and is mixing everything up. And there's 4 acres right in that skid.
Yeah, and then there again, what if I went dual tank or split tank?
You could do it.
Triple tank or triple tank.
I think you need a spray truck. I think is what you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
With a hitch, so you can tow whatever you want.
Mhm.
I think
Or
you
what-
need a 27,000-pound spray truck, so you can haul a 22-pound gooseneck. You know,
Already
do
have one of those.
22,000 pound. Yeah, you hook that right onto it.
I already have the gooseneck.
Put that on there, and you could roll every piece of equipment you have to every property.
It's
Yeah, but problem.
And probably put a camper on part of it, just so you have like a little house to stay in as well, so you don't have to be outside.
You don't have to be outside.
So can I go gooseneck to gooseneck and just pull my horse trailer behind it?
Why not?
But how do I get in these like small ass tight neighborhoods?
Ah,
Do I just back up?
yeah, just park down the road.
Park down the road, drive the
Park
equipment
on the
in.
main highway and just set up cones like AT&T?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call it the Busy Bees convoy. You know.
Oh, we got off on a tangent there. That was a good tangent. I don't even know what started that.
There was a really good setup I remember seeing back when New England Grows was still a thing. They had, I know that's a throwback. I'm sorry.
That's a throwback. Do you remember the blizzard?
I do.
I worked for a landscape company, and we had to drive into Boston during the evacuation to go in and take apart the Techoblock display, because we had been hired by Techoblock to go in and help them put it together and then take it apart. We had to drive a crew of 20 guys up there, 3 trucks into that nightmare. I may or may not have taken a wrong turn, got stuck. I think Techoblock got a ticket that got sent to them because I went through some sort of U-turn I wasn't supposed to do because I had a trailer and it lit it up. But I'm like, whatever, it's going to Techoblock. It's not my problem. We got there, disassembled one of their displays in about 45 minutes, threw it all on pallets and wrapped it and left, drove back, parked the Techoblock trailer in our yard, got out, and I climbed in a machine and then went and plowed for 28 hours.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I remember New England Grows well.
Well, I'm never going to bring it up again. So it's some kind of Boston gathering. I remember there was this spray truck that was like, I want to say it had 3 different tanks, and each tank was 200 gallons. I want to say. So when Busy was talking about that, my brain immediately went right to there, and it had 3 reels, and you could shoot off both sides, and then you could shoot out the back, and it was like, wow, that's a really really cool piece of machinery right there.
Well, this year, when you come to GIE, you will be able to see a large amount of these different vehicles because you will be there this year.
You better.
I will drive out and kidnap you because I can find you.
I'm going to be in the middle of Belchertown, and there's going to be
a Permagreen idling in someone's yard and your truck just sitting there, and it's going to be like, where'd he go? Like, I don't know. This Lush Lawns truck just kind of drove away like it was on fire.
And his bearded redneck like threw this guy in a hood and took off.
Yeah.
Did our lawn boy just get kidnapped?
Oh God, I can see that happening too.
You'll be there.
I will be there.
It's 3 days. It's 3 days. You can go work on Saturday and Sunday when you get back.
Like I did.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
It legit is 3 days. You can make it. Yeah, 3 days. It really. It's 3. It's 3.
It's 3 days. Unless you're extra like Tiflo or Mikey.
You could do 2. I mean, you could do 2 and do the red eye coming in, but it's 3.
You need
the show. That show is so big. It
probably
I would
makes
say
Rose look small.
It makes the Sunbelt Ag Expo in Georgia look small. It makes all the hardscapes that I see down here look
So
small.
you know that expo center they had that in
Yeah.
at New
Yep.
England Grows,
Yeah.
and it was never full either, right?
No.
I would say it is 8 times the size of that indoors, if not maybe 10
Wow.
indoors.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole hardscape side if you're into that kind of thing.
Okay.
Then there's the
But
outdoor hardscape.
And there's a hardscape outside, but then there's an outdoor facility for you to ride every piece of equipment. And this is where we got to ride the Stinger. We got to ride the Stinger's new spreader.
The spiker.
The spiker spreader. We got to try that. I was telling you about earlier for just purchasing for Lime apps.
Sure. Yep.
We got to actually ride Permagreen's new electric machine they're making, which was a prototype, but I think they were just trying to create a little buzz. And I asked them last year, where's the electric? Because I see it coming. Why not have it?
Sure.
You know, and I'm not saying it's going to replace gas, but I could run probably electric all day long, and I don't have to listen to Karen complain that we're making too much noise. I'd rather be quiet, and she has no idea we're actually spraying herbicides.
Sure.
Yeah. What was the other one we drove? Oh, Turfware's there. I mean, they're all there, and you can ride them to get a feel to see what they actually feel like.
Oh, the Steel Green. The big Steel Green. That they had
yeah. Oh my God, Tiffany was all over that thing. I mean,
yeah, I about jizzed my pants when I seen it in real life.
Yeah, they're coming out now with satellite tracking.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's crazy.
And I know Site One had something like that, but they're putting it right on their machine, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty neat. It sounds like the Big E for lawn care guys.
That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. It's that massive. I mean, it's 20 or 30 acres, I think, outside.
Oh wow.
It's at least. And I mean, if you want to just screw around and get in a mini excavator, you can get one of those and dig a hole.
I did.
There's
I played on those, the Ditch Witch, the Case. Did you see the Ditch Witch fucking stand-ons?
Yep.
They were massive compared to my MT100.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, dude. They're like MT2000s. They're huge.
It's like a 289D3, but you stand on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you definitely have to go. Bring Tucker, shut it down for 3 days. Yeah. Come out, bring Tucker with him, and give the kid a little break, man. You can't work that kid into the ground. Poor Tucker out there is just like emaciated by that point in the season. We got to fatten him up.
And Wednesday is the swag day, so you get all your swag.
Okay.
They bring out food after 5. You get beer, wine.
Maybe, you got to get there early to get the drinks. But maybe DeWalt will set another mower on fire too. I mean, that was exciting.
hey, maybe somebody else this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
And then we can go talk to the Scythe booth, which I think is one of the most innovative new electric mowers that's coming out, completely autonomous. I saw it last year. I told my buddy Kyle Bin, I'm like, I'd buy one of these in a heartbeat. If I had multiple mower guys out there, I would be all over buying one. And he's like, how much is it? I'm like, we asked. He's like, $45,000. He's like, that's so expensive. I said, what do you pay one of your employees for the year to ride your mower? This guy is not going to be drunk. He's not going to get in a fight with his girlfriend. His mother's not going to get sick. His grandmother's not going to die.
He's not going to miss a day.
Right.
You pull up, this thing cuts the grass and gets back in the truck and goes, what's next?
Yeah.
If I pick up solar farms, I'm going that, or what I've been looking at for the past, I think 2 years. I'm looking at Wright Autonomous.
So, and Grays might be another one that was pretty cool. I've been looking at them.
I didn't really like their whole sales pitch.
I didn't see their sales pitch.
We're perfect for the golf course. No, you can't reel mow. No, you're not gonna be on that level.
No, but they can.
You could do.
You can do perimeter. You can do the roughs So that
With-
hey, now you got a guy reel cutting, and that thing's doing the perimeter. You don't need little Jalon jockey out there, the retiree out there riding around on a 60-inch whacking away at stuff. That thing's doing it. Scythe
That's
is working
33 years
on
old.
Scythe is working on a model for applicators. So it is actually working on a database to identify weeds as it drives over it, so we can see them and spray them. So it's building a database for that.
Well, gentlemen, we're coming up to an hour and a half of runtime.
We have kept Brent up far too long.
I don't know. Last week we were up pretty late. We went to what 10:30 almost.
That was the after
yeah,
show.
No, that was not the after show.
it was with Jay Bartley.
Jay Bart.
Yeah, we continue on. But that was actually the after show. The live went on for about an hour and 28 minutes or something. We talked about it afterwards. Lushy, thanks for joining us on Western Mass Turf. I really appreciate it. Love to have
My
you back
pleasure.
again.
Anytime.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Mike, always a pleasure. Busy
As
bees.
always.
And everyone that is watching at home, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.